Hi everyone and welcome to this new video. Why does osteoarthritis take so long to heal? This is the central question of this video. As some of you have taken the hardest step to start a poultice treatment, it is time to answer. And we'll see what Salmanoff says. He wrote two nice books, The 1000 Ways to Healing and Secrets and Wisdom of the Body. Salmanoff was Knipe's successor, as we have already seen in video 18, and known for his research in the field of capillary, and more particularly in that of rheumatism. It was allowed for his work to have found the explanation while also offering a solution. This said, we too can contribute to the solution, and we'll see why and how. The question brings us to the network of capillaries, these billions of small veins, finer than a hair, and that classical medicine never speaks of. For classical medicine, only the blood network of arteries seems to exist. The capillaries are seen as inert, passive, and unimportant. But the second network of capillaries has been intensively studied, especially by Salmanoff and other researchers, like for instance Koch, before him. They found and demonstrated that it is this capillaries network which is absolutely by far the most important. First in volume. 80% of the blood circulates in the capillaries, and the length of the capillaries stretched in a straight line reaches 100,000 kilometers. Second, this network is also the most important for the work that it does, namely to bring oxygen and food to the cells and eliminate waste. The capillary circulation is the only seat of the tissue exchanges, says Salmanoff, here in his book, page 229. And this also applies to the most remote, the most peripheral regions, such as our finger joints. They are described as innumerable hearts, pulsatile, contractile organs, and one speaks of an intestine-like peristalsis, of an autonomous mobility of the blood, a capillary motricity. And Salmon says it intervenes in every pathological process. Without knowledge of the capillaries, one remains on the surface of the phenomena, and one cannot understand anything in the field of pathology, whether it be general or special. This network of capillaries is a world of extreme complexity. There are all kinds, large and small, narrow and wide, open and closed capillaries. And this latter is what we must focus on. It is indeed the number of open or closed capillaries that decide on health or illness, on our youth or old age, because as we age, they tend to close. The network dries up, the man becomes dehydrated. This is the age of rheumatic diseases. But these diseases can also manifest themselves much earlier, and it is then actually premature aging. For our purpose, it is important to understand that in our fingers, these bumps indicate that there is a host of closed capillaries, probably even compressed and asphyxiated, and that they can no longer do their job of bringing blood and eliminating waste. There is no rheumatism without capillary stasis, says Salmanoff. As a result, the challenge consists in reopening them and revitalizing them. And that's exactly what Salmanoff has achieved by developing very hot baths, up to 42 degrees Celsius. So this is where we get into the heart of the subject. Salmanoff believes that cold applications are still used by Kneipp, and he knew Kneipp, can no longer open the capillaries. And this increased need for heat is due to the general weakening of the human body. This is a direct consequence of pollution, linked to industrialization, and the change in the composition of the air that people have come to breathe. An air in which there is more CO2 and other pollutants than oxygen. And when you know that man needs thousands of liters of oxygen a day, this is food for thought. The consequence for the organism is a dramatic one, namely the decrease in the strength of biochemical reactions in the human body. The consequent decrease in body heat, in short, the human debilitation, and ultimately the failure of modern man to react to cold applications by the beneficent reaction of the opening of the blood capillaries. Hence the need for very hot water applications. So this is the first explanation for the slow pace of healing, but it is not the only one. Indeed, it will be understood that the problem will be all the more thorny that there is also food waste coming into play, because Salmanoff says it is the food waste that is deposited in the hollows of joints and around, which compresses cells, smother blood and lymphatic circulation, makes blood sticky. He takes care to add that the waste is largely derived from animal proteins, urea, uric acid, phosphates, ammonia. So the Salmanoff baths, also named Scabidar baths, made from pine, we have seen this already with Kneipp, have two actions, opening and revitalizing the capillaries, and two, dissolving the stasis and blockages and even treating inflammation. These baths can be seen as a true rejuvenation cure, as they will open the capillaries everywhere in the body. And Salmanoff describes them, and this gives an idea of the speed. The Scabidar baths that we use, opening gently, gradually, floor by floor, the closed capillaries, restore the irrigation of desert islands in the tissues, vivify them by contribution of oxygen and nourishing blood, lead to the draining of metabolites, and tissue and cell life revives. As a result, we should not be surprised anymore if we do not see anything for a while. Everything happens at the level of the invisible for us. We are here in the field of the infinitesimal small, but you can easily imagine a lot of things happening, and you just need some patience and even more perseverance. They will be rewarded because Salmanoff announces this very good news. There is not one rheumatism that does not heal by the Scabidar baths. He gives the list with rheumatisms, and it is too long to quote, but we all know the classical treatments: drugs most often, are vain in any case. Notwithstanding, they cost millions of dollars. So the buds are sold on the internet and are accessible to all because all you need is a bud tube. I have not tried them yet, but I'm intended to do so in the near future, probably during the winter. People from all over the world went to Salmanoff for a cure. So now time to look at the diet. So to avoid waste, it is necessary to reduce animal proteins as much as possible. And how far can we reduce them? Well, till zero. Dr. Campbell, in his book, The China Study, which I'm reading now, proposes the whole food plant-based diet with no added fats. It is a self-cleaning and self-healing diet. And it has these powers precisely because it is free of animal protein. Animal protein does not just produce waste. Dr. Campbell shows in his book that when we consume them in quantities higher than 5 to maximum 10% of the total calories intake, they also cause affluence diseases. And what's even more important, if you reduce them again to less than 5 to 10%, these affluence diseases stop and even heal. So more reason to give this diet a try. Why is this diet also without fats? Well, here it is Dr. Esselstyn who tells us, and we have seen Clinton in video 27 who told us the results. This is because fats, all processed fats, even olive oil, stiffen the walls of the arteries and damage the endothelial cells of the wall. As a consequence, they cannot make the precious nitric acid anymore, an acid that is indispensable for the good circulation of the blood. It allows our arteries to dilate during sport, for instance. It gives more blood to the muscles when needed. It prevents inflammation and the formations of blockages and plaque as well. So for the last 15 days I've been on this diet and I'm a big fan of it. It is a true liberation. It's really about getting better eating habits, without which the results obtained by the treatment may be constantly wiped out. This is something you have to keep in mind. So in a few months I see the results in my blood work. I see what it gives on the fingers and so on. You will say that there will be almost nothing left to eat. Well, it is the opposite. There is plenty of vegetable protein. Moreover, know that fasting itself heals, up to and including sick joints, even destroyed joints. And it heals quite quickly. The proof was given to us by a doctor, Dr. Buchinger. At a certain moment of his life, he had a sepsis which had destroyed all his joints. And they healed thanks to a fasting cure of 19 days. This experience changed his outlook on medicine, and he opened the famous Buchinger Clinic for Therapeutic fasts near the Constance Lake in Germany. And people from all over the world go there to treat their illness through fasting. So to summarize the answer to our question, what takes time is to bring the capillaries to open. And for the rest, the duration could depend on the quality of the blood, the amount of CO2 and other pollutants, as well as of food waste, all of which have to be eliminated. The healing of my fingers is nothing else than elimination of the waste. So I hope this helps for you to complete the treatment successfully. Do not hesitate to ask questions, if any. You can put them in the comment box or on the Facebook page. I put a link in the comment too to all the info I shared today. Thank you so much for listening. Until the next video. Bye bye.